And look, LeBron's a free agent. You have to decide, and I got to focus on his business, and he should be focused on his business, and let the Lakers hire whoever they want to hire. And he's always showed up and played for whatever coach is there, But yeah, I hear you, Bomani, and again, I'm not, there's no need to try to drive a specific narrative or try to dodge anything. It is what it is. I think he's earned the right to have input if he wanted that, obviously, but it's just not the case.
Wow.
No.
Hold on, Bomani's going to come. Hold on real quick. You just said something, Rich. You said LeBron's a free agent. So I take it LeBron's going to decline that player option.
Chris, I don't do my business over the phone.
Okay, I just heard what you said.
I don't know what he's going to do. We're going to do what we do every year. We're going to evaluate the situation, and we're going to make the best decision.
Uh-oh.
Well, welcome back to Beyond the Arc. Some very interesting comments there from Rich Paul on the TNT Altcast. You heard him trying to walk it back there when Chris Haynes pressed him on it. It was like, wait a minute, did you already decide that LeBron is going to decline that $51.4 million player option? Which I love Rich Paul saying that he's a free agent and then going, I'm not going to talk about the thing on camera that I just talked about. But Bill, what do we make of this? Are we buying any part of what Rich Paul just said?
Yeah, I mean, look, the expectation in LA, talking to folks at the Lakers, is that LeBron's going to opt out of the deal. They think he's going to stay. They're convinced he's going to stay. Now, I think he's going to stay too, but they were convinced in Miami that he was going to stick around. They were pretty hopeful the first time in Cleveland, but this is what makes sense. Now, I guess the intrigue is what happens with his son. There's reports out today that Bronny's only going to do in-person workouts with the Lakers. That makes sense. And with the Suns, and there's some reporting out there that maybe Phoenix would stretch for him even in the first round to try to get Bronny in the hope to get LeBron. But yes, Rich is just saying the quiet part out loud. LeBron was always going to opt out of that deal, and the assumption is he's going to be a Laker. But again, that's what I would bet on. But I will believe it when he signs on the dotted line, because LeBron sometimes surprises everybody with what he decides to do.
I mean, where's he going to go?
Play with the Sun.
But where?
I think Philly's interesting. So I think if he wants to chase a championship, I think Philly's an interesting location. I think there's a question if you're Daryl Morey. This is a big if. Could you even land LeBron? Again, people with the Lakers would tell you you can't. Would you rather pay LeBron at his age, 3 years and a bunch of money, let's say, or would you rather pay Paul George? I mean, you're the resident Sixers fan, John. I think I'd rather have LeBron, actually, because I think you have a shorter window, and Embiid, you never know how long he's going to last, and I just think LeBron is, over the next year and a half, 2 years, even at his age, I'd rather have him in those moments than PG, but I could see the other argument, because Paul George is obviously much, much younger.
I'd be happy with either of them, just in terms of fit and yeah. I mean, seriously, I mean, it's such a massive upgrade over Tobias Harris that yes, the answer to which one, the answer would be yes. Although, as I've mentioned previously on this show, I think LeBron carries a lot of extracurricular things that orbit around him, whereas PG, you just slot him in and he's the third guy and you don't have to worry about the narrative around him and making it LeBron's team and whatever. Ashley, to your point about where would LeBron go, I'm glad you asked that. Teams with the most projected cap space include the Pistons. I don't think he's going to Detroit. Second most would be the Sixers. Interesting. Third is the Jazz. He's not going to the Jazz. Then we've got the Thunder. That would be also interesting, but I don't think he's going to be spending his time in Oklahoma City. No offense to Oklahoma City. And then Orlando. I don't think he's landing with any of these. So just for funsies, the Spurs, Rockets, Cavs, and Mavs could be interesting.
No, but then literally back to my previous question. Where is he going to go? He's not going to any of those teams.
So the Warriors are the betting favorite. So that's based on the idea, it's a fair one, that LeBron's going to demand a whole bunch of money, because he always has. But LeBron's not hurting for cash. I think he's going to be okay. And so if you look at the betting favorite, just the betting markets, if he leaves LA, interestingly, the top bet is the Golden State Warriors, and the next most likely team, according to the odds, is Cleveland. So it's hard to – but again, everybody tried to play this game when LeBron's left before, and we mostly got it wrong. I think you're right, Ash. I think he's staying in LA. But again, LeBron has a history of surprising people.
Here's the thing, why I don't think he's leaving LA. I hear what you're saying about Cleveland. It's a homecoming. He can go back. But Cleveland is in a lot better of a position as a team. I know there's a lot of questions about Donovan Mitchell. Right now, it seems like all signs are pointing to him re-signing. Again, that can change. But right now the Cleveland Cavaliers are not the same type of team that they were when LeBron came back and saved them and they won the championship and the kid from Akron, brought the chip home. And they're a much better team in a much better position. You get the right coach into that system. I feel like that team can do well in the Eastern Conference. I don't think that they need much work. This is drastically different, like I said, than it was years ago, right? And then if you look at the Warriors, the Warriors are a little bit kind of lopsided right now. There's a lot of question marks about Klay, Steph, and Draymond as a unit, but I do think when you have those three guys in any capacity, there's always a chance. Whether it's a slim one, a big one, there's always a chance, right? And I also think from an organizational standpoint, Steve Kerr has the respect of that locker room. He has the respect of that organization, that front office. I think they do a good job at maintaining the chaos that sometimes surrounds them. LeBron has most control in LA. And when we talk about LeBron, you also have to talk about the control that he wants and the control that he desires. It's the reason things didn't work out in Miami. There's no other team that would give him that control that even needs LeBron. Yeah, you always want a LeBron, but look at the Western Conference. Look at the teams that have gone and surpassed the Lakers this year. They're going to be good this time next year also. The Western Conference is the changing of the guard. We're seeing, the teams that used to run the West no longer run the West. So I feel like who is desperate for a LeBron James? Those teams are not as big as a list as they might have been a few years ago. So why would you leave the Lakers? Your control is in LA.
Well, it gets down to what he wants. It's an interesting question. If he wants control, maybe he does. Well, maybe it's the Lakers. If he wants money, and that's a reasonable thing to desire, it's the Lakers. But to your point, if you want to win, it's not in LA. It's not
true.
in LA.
Yes.
And the Western Conference is harder. So Cleveland becomes, right, you probably have to move some guys on. But again, it gets into what he's willing to make. If LeBron James just decides to hell with it, I'm going to take a lot less money or make the league minimum or whatever the math is, it's not that it's unprecedented. The guys in San Antonio took less money, and Tim Duncan got extra rings as a result, and Kobe Bryant didn't take less money, and that's an okay outcome. And he didn't chase rings at the end of his career. He spent his last 2 years playing on a bad basketball team and making a lot of shots. So it's a really interesting point because it just depends what LeBron James actually covets. But whatever he covets, I think he can find a home for that. He wants to chase rings, someone will take him. He wants money, he can certainly do that. To John's point, I don't think he's going to be a Piston, but he could, right? If he wants to triangulate a little bit, you can go to Philly. So what does LeBron want? I presume it's to stay in LA because he likes it here, but you never know with him.
I thought about putting the Warriors on my list, but their cap situation is so untenable that a lot of things would have to happen there. They're going to kick Chris Paul overboard and they clear some money there. They'd probably have to say goodbye to Klay in that scenario. And then on top of that, LeBron would have to take like a big pay cut to do that. But then that makes it really interesting. I just thought it was too many moving parts to actually include that on my list. But to both of your points about LeBron and whether or not he wants control, we heard in that Rich Paul clip that Rich Paul saying that no, LeBron is not involved in this coaching search, which none of the three of us actually believe. But Carmelo Anthony recently was on the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast, and he has an idea of, a lot of people were saying, like, would JJ be a good fit with LeBron? And Carmelo has a take on this.
I know the mind of six.
Yep.
And if you got a mind on the intellectual standard, we gonna get along. But when the minute that you start to think that you know more than me, we got a problem.
Dumb.
I ain't gonna say nothing to you, but I'm gonna let you do I'm gonna let you shoot yourself in the foot. Right. So to me, I think JJ, I with it because I think JJ has an opportunity. It's just about what opportunity that he has.
This has been my point.
It's feeling a lot more like it's gonna be JJ, but yeah, actually,
it's gonna be JJ.
If they bring in JJ, it feels to me like it's going to be a co-head coach situation.
This has been my entire point. Me and Melo were right here, okay? Shout out to my guy Melo, former Knick, once a Knick, always a Knick. Yeah, this has been my point. When you take the Lakers job, you're not taking a head coach job in a traditional sense, right? A head coach traditionally is the decision maker. He is the one that takes into consideration everyone's strength, weaknesses, what they like, what they don't like. But at the end of the day, he's the one calling the plays. You know, he's the general that's going ahead and dictating who does what. In LA, that is not the scenario. So JJ Redick, as smart as he is, because he's extremely, extremely smart when it comes to the game of basketball, that genius is not the reason why I believe he would be getting the head coaching job solely. Yeah, you're really, really smart. You know the game. You know the insides and the outs. You know shooting like one of the best of all time when it comes to the intricacies of shooting and how to get better at it. Phenomenal. But when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers head coaching job, the decision is not yours solely about what happens with this team. It's yours and it's LeBron's. And I'm always of the mind, if you really want to coach, which I feel like JJ does, I don't understand why the Lakers' job is something you would even want. The decisions won't solely be yours. Your head would literally be on a chopping block the minute this team doesn't win a championship, because let's go ahead and be honest, they're not winning a chip unless, you know, they go ahead and just blow it all up and get every single all-star known to man on one team, and that may not even be enough. I don't understand why anybody who genuinely wants to coach would want this job. And JJ seems to me like someone who genuinely wants to coach. And it's not going to be just JJ Redick head coach. It's JJ Redick and LeBron James. So to me, is a lot of question marks on why that job is attractive really to anybody.
Yeah, I think because it's the Lakers. I mean, I think because it's the Los Angeles Lakers and you get to coach LeBron, you get to live in LA. And by the way, this isn't confirmed, but there are certainly whispers out there that the deal is done. JJ is going to be the coach, and that some combination of ESPN has him under contract and doesn't want him talking about it nonstop on the broadcast, / you don't want to make your partner, the NBA, angry by announcing something that takes away from the finals, is why it's going to be delayed. Because the Lakers should have – you want to coach by now. You have decisions that have to be made. It's time to start. So I think there's probably a world where he's already the coach. It's just not signed, sealed, and delivered technically yet. But I'm with you, Ash, and I think the main reason why he wants it – good question. And I think it's because of the Lakers. Why LeBron wants him is the podcast. Co-host is a really good training ground for co-coach.
Can
right?
they still do the pod?
No, but they can at least adapt the same. Do you think they can't do the pod if you're the co-host? They will.
JJ was doing his pod when he was a player. LeBron is doing a pod right now as a player.
But
I'd
player coach is crazy.
It's a different dynamic, man.
Listen, they are multimedia superstars.
They just give LeBron the assistant coach title. Like, let him be a player assistant coach. So stop insulting the intelligence of all of us and everybody in that locker room. Oh, they are going to do it. You're right,
amazing.
John.
I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be amazing. We basically suspect, as Rich Paul let it slip, that LeBron James is already a free agent, but we're going to talk through the rest of the free agent class. It's kind of thin. We're going to walk through it, and Bill's going to give us his top 5. That's coming up. You're watching Beyond the Arc on CBS Sports Network.